From almost starring as Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings, to refusing to return for filming the sequel to Speed, here are the movies that Keanu Reeves almost starred in, but didn't. J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy epic could have looked a whole lot different. But before Frodo embarked on his perilous quest to destroy the One Ring, there was a behind-the-scenes quest of its own, the search for the perfect Aragorn. Esteemed actors from all walks of Hollywood life were summoned. Names like Russell Crowe and even Nicolas Cage were being considered. Yes, you heard me right. We could have seen Cage wield Enduril and lead the charge against the forces of darkness. We were robbed. But Reeves, the embodiment of coolness and bullet-dodging skills, wasn't only interested in the role, he publicly expressed his burning desire to play the mighty Aragorn. Imagine Neo swapping his sleek shades for a rugged sword and armor. Keanu went all out and even reached out to Peter Jackson himself, trying to convince the director that he was the one destined to be Strider. But destiny had other plans. Despite Keanu's undeniable enthusiasm and dedication, the role eventually found its way into the capable hands of Viggo Mortensen. And boy, did he deliver! Viggo's portrayal of Aragorn was nothing short of remarkable, perfectly embodying the essence of the character, bringing a perfect blend of strength, vulnerability, and determination to the screen. And let's be honest, no other star could break the number of bones necessary to play the character quite like Viggo. But not all of Keanu's potential roles were so free of controversy. Take Ben Stiller's Tropic Thunder, for example. You see, when Tropic Thunder was just a flicker of an idea in Ben's wacky imagination, he had a different plan for the leading man. You guessed it. Who else but Keanu? In Ben's original vision, though, he saw himself playing a different character altogether, one that eventually found its way into the capable hands of Matthew McConaughey. However, as fate would have it, Stiller had a change of heart. Maybe he thought Keanu's coolness could outshine even his own comedic brilliance. Or perhaps he realized that the chemistry between him and McConaughey was too good to pass up. Whatever the reason, Ben ultimately decided to step into the shoes of Tug Speedman, our lovable but slightly clueless protagonist. So essentially, Ben wanted Keanu to play a dude which he paired with another dude, but ended up playing the dude himself. Honestly, pretty on point for the film. Still, Stiller's unique brand of humor and impeccable comedic timing left audiences rolling, and the film became a massive success. Despite modern cinematic standards trying to revoke its cult classic status, the film still stands as one of the greatest comedy flicks of all time. So, although Reeves wasn't part of the madness, we can't help but wonder what could have been. But if you thought Tropic Thunder was a trip, you're not ready for Speed Racer. Buckle up, because this underrated gem and visual representation of an LSD trip raced onto screens and left everyone floored. Brought to us by the creative minds of the Wachowski sisters, the film is a thrilling adaptation of the beloved manga and anime of the same name. Who said live-action anime adaptations used to be bad back in the day? This turbocharged tale follows a young racing prodigy who tries to put an end to the corruption and crime that plague the racing leagues. It's a high-stakes adventure where speed, skill, and a touch of mystery collide in the most exhilarating way possible. The Wachowskis had already collaborated with Reeves on the groundbreaking Matrix films. With their previous success in mind, it's no wonder they thought of the guy when it came time to bring Racer X to life. But it never came to be, as Keanu had to reluctantly turn down the opportunity to jump behind the wheel. But fear not, folks. The show must go on, and the role of Racer X ultimately fell into the capable hands of none other than Matthew Fox, known for his time on Lost. Sure, it's a shame we didn't get to see Keanu revving his engine as Racer X, but it's as they say, when one door closes, another opens. Fox's phenomenal performance added an extra layer of depth to the character, making him an easy fan favorite in his own right. Speaking of mysterious characters, Keanu was also part of the DC universe with 2009's Watchmen. Zack Snyder's no stranger to controversy, and his films tend to stir up more debate than political showdowns. Love him or hate him, there's no denying that he knows how to leave an impression. Snyder's adaptation of this comic series is a dark and atmospheric masterpiece, immersing you in a world where heroes question their morality and humanity hangs in the balance. It's a gripping tale, made even more captivating by an ensemble cast of equally unforgettable characters. Among these extraordinary beings, there's one who shines brighter than the rest. Literally, the all-powerful Dr. Manhattan. With his ability to manipulate matter at will, he stands as a symbol of immense power and existential contemplation. You can already guess who was offered the role to play this blue superhuman. Imagine Reeves taking on the role of this complex, godlike being. It would have been fascinating to say the least, but as Reeves put it best, things simply didn't work out. Maybe it was a scheduling conflict, or perhaps the stars just weren't aligned. We'll never know why the universe denied us the pleasure of witnessing Keanu don the blue hue. The role found its perfect match in Billy Crudup, though, whose portrayal of the character is hailed as the definitive on-screen depiction, capturing the essence of this all-powerful force, while also infusing him with vulnerability and a sense of existential dread. But it's not just DC who tried to snag the superstar. Marvel also hoped to book Reeves for a villain role in Spider-Man: No Way Home. From the moment this cinematic masterpiece was announced, rumors began swirling like wildfire, igniting the flames of anticipation in the hearts of fans worldwide. And when the film finally hit the screens, it was like Christmas morning for Spidey enthusiasts, as their wildest expectations were not only met but surpassed in a glorious web-slinging spectacle. But you'd be surprised to know that the film was originally supposed to go in a completely different direction. Director John Watts had some ambitious plans for the movie, namely a story centered around our beloved hero battling the legendary and fearsome villain Kraven the Hunter. The MCU had its sights set on none other than Keanu to portray the enigmatic and dangerous villain. Yeah, I just can't picture it happening, but the thought alone is intriguing enough. But the webs of fate weren't kind, and Keanu wasn't interested in the idea, causing the story to take a completely different direction. Honestly, I'm glad that it did. No Way Home delivered a mind-blowing experience that left fans jumping out of their seats. Watching the different Spider-Men take on their respective villains was a treat to say the least, and it led to the greatest character development Peter Parker could ever get, despite all the hearts it broke. Rest in peace, Aunt May. You'll be missed. But Spider-Man wasn't the first MCU project that Reeves was considered for. He was also offered the role of Yon-Rogg in Captain Marvel. While it didn't receive a unanimous seal of approval from Marvel fans out there, let's not dismiss Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck's creation as a total flop. Trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. The action-packed film follows the journey of the titular hero, Captain Marvel herself, as she finds herself entangled in a colossal galactic war. Now, every hero needs a formidable adversary, and in the case of Captain Marvel, we have the slick and cunning Yon-Rogg, portrayed by the talented Jude Law. Alongside the fantastic digital de-aging of the legendary Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, Law's portrayal of the villain stood out as one of the coolest aspects of the movie. He brought the right amount of charm and intensity to the character. The role of Yon-Rogg was initially offered to Reeves, though, who, unfortunately, had to reluctantly decline the opportunity due to scheduling conflicts with John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Can't blame the guy for prioritizing his work. But things still ended up working out for the best, so there won't be any complaints from my end. But it's not just original adaptations that Reeves has turned down. He even turned down the offer to return to the film that made him a household name, Speed 2. The first Speed movie was a turbocharged thrill fest, widely considered a cult classic. The same can't be said for its successor, though. Speed 2 Cruise Control sailed onto the scene with high hopes, but unfortunately it crashed right into rough waters. Pun not intended. Don't get me wrong, the premise was there. Despite practically being a copy of the original, this time the bomb was strapped to a massive cruise liner. The film had a lot of potential, but it was just dumber. Yes, you heard me right, dumber. Reeves quickly sniffed out the flaws and made the wise decision to turn down the role. If only the producers were half as perceptive. The film was met with a tidal wave of disappointment. Alright, I'll stop with the water puns. It's starting to run dry. So, from refusing to return for filming the sequel to Speed to almost starring as Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings, here were the movies that Keanu Reeves almost starred in, but didn't.